Hey folks, Quizzmal Designs here, and as promised, I said I was going to do an inbox review of the Academy 132nd F-16, and here it is. This is the Academy 132nd F-16 CG/CJ F-16. Now, the box art back there, obviously that one is from the Tamiya F-16, but just for a backdrop, I threw it in. Now, today we're going to be going over, obviously, what's inside the box. But we're also going to be comparing it to the Tamiya 132nd F-16, as well as discussing the different block types of F-16s with the Academy kit here. Now, I did do a video on the 1/42nd scale F-16s and the different block types, but with this model kit here, you can build the different blocks of F-16s. Now, there has been a lot of discussion on this model kit, and a lot of people got frustrated with it, and then they went on a rant and said parts didn't fit and things like that. I'm starting to wonder if they didn't quite understand the different block types, and they tried to fit, the small mouth, intake into the larger engine, and they got mad and then went on a rant. I'm starting to wonder if that was maybe the problem. I don't know, I haven't built this yet, but I'm starting to wonder if that was the problem. Because from what I see here, this is going to build into a beautiful model. And once we get started on it, I guess we're going to find out. So, no particular order. Here's the parts. Now, hopefully I can keep this camera steady, or iPad I should say. I do this all on an iPad. I'm pretty low tech. But from what I see, the parts are, very crisp, just like the Tamiya. The plastic is a little bit harder, but the parts seem to be, very nice. And it's all recessed. Little to no flash. But already it's a little bit different than the Tamiya. I can tell, obviously the Tamiya kit didn't have, this piece right here. This was all open. And then of course with the Tamiya kit, they only had this part right here open, and for the drum, this right here was obviously all closed. And then with the Tamiya kit as well, if you remember, this was two pieces, as where this is one. So that's going to be, a little interesting when it comes to that point of the build. And then, for the nose right here on the Tamiya kit, you have the option of putting the antenna pieces. Now with this kit, you can put those antenna pieces on after if you want. Like they're little pieces that you have to drill the holes with this one, and then you can put them on individually, as where with the Tamiya kit, it was just one whole piece. If you remember, if you go back to my other videos, it's just that one whole piece that you put on. So it's all in how you build it. As you can see, there's the holes that you can drill if you want that on. So it's going to build a little bit differently, obviously. But the parts seem very, very nice. Now, here is the intakes, which this is going to be really, really cool. So this will give the builder the option to build, the small mouth intake or the big mouth intake, which means you're going to be building not the engines, obviously, because with the Tamiya, you're building the engine out or in, right? So you have that option. However, with this one, you're going to have, I'm hoping, we'll see, but you might have the different engine, at least the front. But this will give you the look of the big mouth or the small mouth, which means if you're buying aftermarket decals, you can pretty much build whatever F-16 within reason that you want, right? Which is really cool. So this option wasn't available for you on the Tamiya kit, so that's really cool. So that's a huge selling point, I guess you could say, for me. So I'm glad I bought this kit as well, because again, I'm going to be taking parts from this kit and using them on my Tamiya build. And we'll see which ones I use as we go. I'm sorry if this is shaky. I'm trying to do this, you know, one-handed and show you guys. I'm very low tech over here. See, obviously this here, this is for if you want to display this. This is where the drum will sit for the ammo, and then the ammo will feed to the Vulcan. So if you wanted to display this open, like this right here, will sit on the inside here. So if you wanted to display, you know, showing your gun open. And then there's your cockpit detail. And there's your injection seat. So they got the molded in detail right here for the buckles and such. Not as much detail on the ejection seat as the Tamiya, so I'm wondering if an aftermarket ejection seat might be beneficial on this model kit. Maybe. Sorry, my seat is making a lot of noise. So not too bad. So, you know, the ejection seat and cockpit details are really nice, but then, you know, the front of the seat isn't as nice. So, and then obviously we got the landing gear area. So the details are fairly nice there. So obviously this is where the, you know, obviously for the front nose gear. So, you know, there's the bay. So those would be obviously slightly different, right? Because you got the big nose, or sorry, the big mouth and the small mouth. So those would be obviously slightly different. So we'll make way for the newer parts. So again, this is in no particular order here. So I've got the wing details and the tail details. So for the wings on this one here, obviously with the Tamiya kit, you know, the leading edge here was a separate piece which you could pose, you know, down or straight, as where this is just, you know, molded in, which I guess isn't as nice because, you know, this lack of options, I guess you can say, with the Academy kit. Still nice, but not as nice for, I guess, lack of options, I guess you can say. And here's the static wicks, right? So these are all plastic. That's why when I originally purchased the Tamiya kit, I purchased the aftermarket ones straight away because I just assumed they would be plastic. And I was wrong. The Tamiya ones were metal, but they were not as nice. So I'm still happy I went ahead and I bought the aftermarket ones, which I'm going to be probably using the aftermarket ones on this kit as well, because the plastic ones, I mean, those are not useless, but there's no detail there. There's the parachute for, I guess it would be the air brake, but still parachute for the tail. There's the flaps. Okay. So you can see for the intakes there, the big mouth, small mouth. And of course the sidewalls would be obviously different too, right? So you change one thing, you change pretty much the whole thing. And you got some ammo right there. Obviously that would be hanging out the drum. You got the business end of your Vulcan M61. And your wheels are plastic, which, you know, with the Tamiya kit, yours is rubber. So at this point, if I'm not too sure if there's some aftermarket tires out there that are like resin that have the wheels bulged and stuff, you might want to go ahead and look for those. There's the drum right there for the ammo. And plastic landing gear. You might want to get metal ones. I'm sure there's an aftermarket set out there that are metal. I'm not too sure how heavy this model will be if you're posing it on the wheels. I don't think this model will be too heavy. You know, it's strange. Some model kits, you know, it's too bad that one model kit can't just have it all, right? Too bad the Tamiya kit couldn't have come out with both the you know, the wide mouth and the small mouth. Just, you know, just have it all, right? But not saying that the Academy kit won't build into a nice model. It's going to build into a nice model. But there's definitely, you know, a lack of options there for sure. Okay, so now we're looking at the armament, obviously. This looks to be both basically a carbon copy here. Both these sprues are the same. But still, you got a nice option here of pylons and fuel tanks. So you got a nice selection of missiles and such. They actually look to be very nicely detailed. Apologize for my chair squeaking. Gotta like leather chairs. So that's not too bad actually. Those are fairly nice. If you have two kits, like the Tamiya and the Academy kit, you might be able to swap, you know, some of these missiles and parts, which you know, might come in handy. But because I'm building, my Tamiya model is undergoing maintenance and such, you know, there's going to be no missiles and such on my aircraft. However, because I'm not using the missiles and such from my Tamiya kit, I might be able to put them on my Academy model. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now we're talking engines. So they did compensate for the two engines. I believe it is the F100 and the F110 engine. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it does look like they did compensate for it. So you got the different engine exhausts, or like the engines here, and right there. So yeah, they did. So you're not building, like, it's not like the Tamiya kit. So you're not building the entire engine, obviously. You're just building like the important bits that you would see, you know, hanging outside the aircraft and maybe looking into, you know, the plane. So you're not building like what we're doing with the Tamiya kit. So, but at least you are building, you know, if you're looking inside the intake and you're looking outside the aircraft. So that's kind of cool. So it's your choice. Small mouth or big mouth, which is cool. So, excellent. And then obviously you got your different lantern systems and things like that. And then you have your radar and such. Now Tamiya obviously did that with Photo-etch, as where Academy didn't. You got your centerline tank, or your other options here. So centerline tank, or your can't remember what that's called right now. So it's your choice. Then obviously you got your interior detail of your engine. So that's really cool. And then the last sprue for you know, the plastic bits anyway, the gray plastic bits, is like your crewman and stuff, which I'm going to be using these for the most part on my Tamiya build, like my diorama build, like the pilot walking on the outside of the aircraft, and one of the airman type guys on the outside. It's one of the main reasons why I bought this kit as well, was for this set and a few other little bits. And then obviously I'm probably going to have, I'm not too sure if I'm going to have this aircraft on a stand flying or on its wheels beside the other one, just to compare. I haven't decided yet. But there was enough here for me to want to buy this model and just to compare the two. And then anyway, continuing on, there's that other piece that I was telling you about. I was looking for it at the beginning of this video. And then of course the different ladder, things like that, which I might take this ladder, put it onto the Tamiya kit, just to make the two builds completely different, just to show people something different. I like to put things that weren't meant to be on the Tamiya model onto that model, kind of thing, just to change it up. Alright, so let's move on to these bits. You get that little box there. That's what these come in. So you do get some photo etched parts right here, which kind of go on, here, that area there. So you do have the option of putting those on if you wish. They put the nose cone in a separate bag of its own. And then you have your option of tinted canopy or clear canopy. And they do have that line that goes right down the center of the canopy, which I absolutely hate. So that will take some sanding, if you wish to sand that. So that's going to take a little bit of work to do. And the instruction book right here. It's actually a very nice instruction book. I don't like going through them on an in-box review. It's actually kind of boring. So, and I'm not going to bore you with, the instruction booklet, but it actually reads fairly well. It shows you the different variant types, which is kind of cool. Like again, it shows like you have your choice of different HUDs that you can choose from, which did not come with the Tamiya kit. So again, that's kind of a cool option. Now, last but not least is the decals, which are very, very nice. These are from Cartograph, and I will be using some of these on my Tamiya model. These are very nice. They actually give you a wicked set of decals. So you can build many different F-16s from different units, which is really cool. And then you can build one from a South Korean unit as well. So you do get a really, really nice set of decals, which is very impressive. So there we go. That is an inbox review and somewhat of a comparison to the Tamiya model. So hopefully this made sense, and hopefully this was informative. And after the F-16 build, and obviously I got other builds on the table, we'll start working on this. I don't know how I'm going to build it. I don't know if it's going to be on a stand or on its wheels. Let me know how you would like to see it. And, we'll see how many votes we get for wheels, how many votes we get for stand, and we'll go from there. So let me know what you think, and please like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit that like button. It helps the channel grow. and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.